It's not one of those reviews where someone gets a printer and they spend a week or two printing a couple of prints and, making a decision. I had this bad boy for a good year, so it's long-term review of the good, the bad, the ugly. It's definitely a looker. It's like a mini laboratory, so you might have caught your eye first before you actually looked into what it's about. But it's Core XY structure and frame enclosed in this big plastic case. But let me walk you through first the good stuff, just like I started, and then I'm gonna nip in exactly why you shouldn't buy it. And then in the end, hopefully you're gonna make your decision, because there's a lot here. And so right off the bat, you can get this printer in a variety of options. For example, the printer can come with a top enclosure. It can come just as a frame. It can come together with all the different kits included. And of course, if you choose the top option with all the kit included, fully enclosed, there are a few great benefits. That enclosure keeps everything clean, and generally in the room, in the workshop, it has its own space and it's all enclosed. And everybody who comes in, especially people who are not experienced in 3D printing, comments on the looks of this printer, and it just looks super professional. And talking about the looks and a bit of a functionality, one thing to mention is that these corners are the ones which just click in, so it does give it a character, and I really like this, baby blue, whatever you call that. It matches the actual plastic of the enclosure. The magnetic doors, all actually built with the quality in mind. This is another thing which is worth calling out, that the things are just precise. And of course, to mention the actual panels, which you might get with, maybe you're gonna get one without it, it's all attached with the screws, which I'm gonna get back to just in a second. Full enclosure means actually dampening the sound, and I'm gonna demonstrate it to you. While the dampening is minimal, it's still very much so noticeable. And so if you keep your printer next to your bed somewhere or close to your bedroom, it's definitely a nifty feature. Now, getting started with this printer was very easy, and it's probably partially due to the LCD screen, which is a touch screen. Navigating to your designs are as simple and intuitive as you could ask of a 3D printer. Now, it's worth mentioning also that the actual UX of the software is intuitive enough too, and very usable, and I think as simple as it could be, or at least what I experienced from using, let's say, Ender printers from before, this definitely felt like a big upgrade. You have, I don't know, electrical cuts or power cuts all of a sudden, the printer actually is smart enough to remember where you left off. So once you turn it back on, you can actually resume printing. You can even manually pause the printing at any point and then resume it. It has been so beneficial for me many times, because sometimes at night it could get too loud, or I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would want to pause it until morning to resume it later on. I would just do that, and then would be quiet enough for me to, let's say, sleep. That's one of the use cases. And going from a variety of different printers, that is a massive improvement, which also was one of the key elements why I got it. This is where I sometimes keep the tools. There is enough space, and I never reached the limit of it, because the hotbed itself is designed to be 25 by 25 centimeters and can go the height of 40 centimeters. So it can go all the way down. Of course, it doesn't print that much. It maybe prints that much. So you can sort of keep the tools down at the bottom if you would want to. Other than that, it's all super tidy. There's all the belts going through the sides. Core XY frame is this, which your hotend goes side to side, and the actual hotbed Z-axis moves it up and down, and that's how it's get printed. So it's super stable because of that. And so why I purchased this printer was because it was advertised to print at 150 millimeters per second. I just got it immediately. The reality is, it doesn't matter how fast the hotend can travel, or that, Core XY structure can support it, stably at that speed, it doesn't mean that you can actually print that fast. And this is what I realized painfully so when I got it, was that it doesn't matter what settings you use, you can speed up some elements, you can slow down other elements, but ultimately the quality requires time. And if you want that speed, then you need to upgrade the hot end, upgrade the actual feeding elements, how the actual filament gets to it. Just because the hot end can travel that fast doesn't mean that you can push and heat up the PLA, let's say, that fast, and it actually would stick and cool down for it to form well. So I would get a lot of misprints, a lot of missed lines, a lot of clogs and jams and things of that nature, which you don't really want. And this is where I'm gonna start critiquing this printer, because that's the major thing why you might want to look somewhere else if you want that speed, or consider that you might need to start upgrading the things really quickly. I praised the looks of it, I praised how sturdy and quality based it is, but I have to call out a few things which just annoyed me and explain a few things as well. So a lot of you might think and question, why would I keep this tape from the inside? But the actual top is designed to be super mobile. It's meant to open up halfway, but it's not meant to be rigid so that the plastic doesn't crack, and it's meant to slot in the ridges, and as you can see, you kind of have to manually jam it to close it. Screws are designed so they're loose, they're not all the way screwed in, just to not add pressure on the plastic so it doesn't crack here. And that's exactly why I taped them from the inside, because by default with this stock, which you by the way would need to purchase additional, I think it costs like 50 to 100 bucks if I remember correctly, you would be risking your cables from the inside and the Bowden tube getting caught on the actual screws, which happened to me several times, and that's exactly why I taped it from the inside. The cable would cut and it would snap and it would just jolt everything and it would sound horribly. And this is, by the way, the original design case for it. It should be much higher than this, like nothing should come into contact with the Bowden tube, with the cabling. Since I'm already considering to upgrade the hot end with a direct drive extrusion with a Bondtech, I know for sure that this is not gonna fit, and I feel like it's gonna be just under the line, so I'm gonna need to say goodbye to the top anyways. And the next thing, of course, is access to the inside if you want to maintain. And believe me, if you have a 3D printer, you're always gonna maintain things because it's gonna get clogged, jammed, debris, upgrading parts, things of that nature. And this enclosure makes it really hard to access. I'm not gonna even talk about upgrading something in behind. Let's say if you need to access the partial motherboard, or you need to even access a motherboard down below. It's over 20 kg, which is maybe 40 to 50 pounds US in weight. And all the panels are screwed in with multiple screws, which I've shown you in different videos how annoying it can be if you need to unscrew all the different things from all the sides, because all the 4 sides are actually paneled plus the top. And now the biggest pet peeve, I guess, when you maintain this printer, again, since I started about maintenance, oh, you can see it dropped, just in case you do something dodgy, the thing just, you know, it's not rigid enough. So one thing I would consider if I even purchase the top, sound containment and everything else is super beneficial, but I would just consider if this is worth it because of all the different factors. Now, this bad boy, again, the frame itself make it super sturdy. There is no vibrations or, you know, things which just kind of doesn't work, let's say, as the print goes up and down because of the height. Let's say if Ender 3, you might experience that as the print goes up, there is some sort of shift in the different lines and it misprints. But this itself has been super annoying because when I would be, let's say, repairing something, it gets in your head. It actually, I was using this more often than not, then the prints would be failing, just to put my head and bang it for a few times because it would be so annoying. But the actual axis is always like this. You're facing the, you know, the core XY frame ahead of you. I've seen people cut in different printers this, but it's not a good idea because you have a belt across the things, and that's how it operates, that's how it's designed for a reason. So even if I bring the actual nozzle closer to me, it's still, I have to face this way. And usually what I would do is look from behind, from the under, working on this, and sometimes bang my head into this because it's just very hard to access. And because of its speed discrepancy, the parts are, they're advertised that it's super, super high-end parts meant for high-speed prints, but it's not. I had to, again, upgrade the hot end to a spider to print it a bit faster. I had to upgrade the Bowden tube from the basic silicone to the Capricorn from actual Creality. Another thing which I shown you before is the actual cable, sometimes dragging across the actual printing bed, because it's quite long. And talking about the length, this is the big pain point which a lot of people have reported using this printer. As you can see, this hot end is sort of in the center right now. If I would bring it into the corner right here, it would be stretched all the way, and this length of the Bowden tube provides with a lot of travel time for the filament, and so a lot of friction. Going back to the parts which are not great, the actual extruder and how the filament gets into the hot end is, in my opinion, way too weak to actually handle this speed or this load or this printer design altogether. It's just been very annoying, and it's almost a matter of time before it's a jam, and you just hear the clicking noise, and you can even see that there is dust already forming, and this is actual extruder struggling to feed this filament up, basically scratching the filament line, and cannot get the actual filament up the things. And as we are looking inside, one thing to mention again is the glass hotbed. For some people it's gonna work. For me it was a bit again annoying. Ultimately, when you stop printing, especially smaller prints, your hotbed is gonna end up somewhere here, just in this, again, Core XY line, the annoying frame which gets into your face. And sometimes I would be scraping actual design off like this, and I would just be kind of rubbing against the frame just like that. That's really annoying part. Or I wouldn't have a good angle to actually undo it from the bottom. There wouldn't just be a good access to the design to take out the actual print off the hotbed. I would need to always manually lower it, but things like that would be an improvement if actual Creality would design a software that it automatically goes down as the print is done and it's finished. And the hotbed itself is still stock. Feel like I believe I only replaced the wheels, if at that. I think the springs are the ones I actually upgraded, just like many other things. But talking about the actual hotbed, it's glass based. And one of the upgrades I still plan to do is really upgrading it into magnetic PE flexible material. But I want it to be easy to remove, because sometimes, again, because of a frame, because of the actual angles, it's super hard sometimes to remove, especially big prints like this. For example, you can see the mark of the latest print, which was a big plastic plate of the thing. And so now that you know all of that, what's your verdict? Leave a comment down below. Maybe you have other printers which are alike like this. Maybe you have your own experiences. Share it with the community. But ultimately, this to me feels like a slight improvement on Ender 3. And would I recommend it to someone to just go and buy it outright? Definitely. I mean, as a beginner tool, it definitely has its own plus and minuses. But again, make sure that you keep on upgrading bits which just not gonna work out in the end, or are gonna start annoying you, especially if you're gonna print big quantities. And so that's it. The next step for me with this printer is to upgrade the Bondtech hot end, and it has the direct feed straight into the hot end, so I'm gonna avoid that issue of a Bowden tube and many more things to come. So it's definitely not over, but I hope you find this useful. If so, smash that like button, it definitely helps. And on that note, I'll see you next time.